Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Marissa and I'm a flight attendant with a major US airline, and I am here in Las Vegas where I've had the longest layover since being a flight attendant. This layover was just over 24 hours. Where's my layover? It's here in Las Vegas. I'll give you a better view of that. But they have been testing out this new concert arena. Can you see it right there? Let me see if I can. I think it opens at the end of September, and I think that the first performance is going to be by U2, where they kick off their next tour. I don't know what the name of the tour is, but they've been practicing, or sorry, not practicing, but they've been running different themes of this little globe or whatever it is, the arena that they call it. And then there's the high roller. What I'm going to do is I'm going to discuss, I scoured the internet and I found some common flight attendant assumptions. So let's go over some of those assumptions and let's kind of go through let's go through it and let's, separate assumptions from reality. And the first one, the biggest one, is flight attendants only pour drinks. That's all they do. And they couldn't be further from the truth. We assist with boarding. And during that boarding process, we are watching every passenger that gets on the aircraft, and we are just, monitoring them to see how they are doing, looking for signs of maybe anxious flyers, people that may need our assistance, new mothers or mothers in general traveling with babies or lots of things in their hand. They might need an extra helping hand, and we're just trying to make that boarding process as smooth as possible. We also are in charge of safety, so before we take off, we're just making sure that all the equipment that is supposed to be on board and is working, and that we have all of our tools and anything that we may need during the flight on board. So no, we don't just pour drinks all day. We are trained to respond in emergencies. We are ensuring that we get to wherever we are going to safely with you, that we're there to get you there safely. The next assumption is that flight attendants are tired all the time. I wouldn't say that we're tired all the time. Perhaps we're jet lagged. I should be more jet lagged than I am right now, but I feel okay. Last night I got in around 11 p.m. and I thought it would be brilliant to just hit the gym and get my workout out of the way. But that just kept me up all night. So I think being on Miami time, which is 3 hours later than Las Vegas time, just kind of ruined my sleep schedule. I was not able to sleep after that. I tossed and turned and I hardly got any sleep. But I did go out exploring Las Vegas today, and then I came back and I took a nap. I'm gonna jump in the shower again after this video and get ready for the flight back to Miami, which is an evening flight, and midnight. We head out around midnight. We get back to Miami in the early morning. Another assumption is that flight attendants know how to land a plane. I'm sorry, but I don't know how to land a plane. I've never taken a flight instruction course ever. But I will say that there are some flight attendants that are pursuing their pilot's license. So some flight attendants may know how to land a plane, but I don't, and it's not a requirement. I will say that there are 2 pilots in every flight deck, and in the event that something happens to one of the pilots, a flight attendant can go in there and assist. It's a very rare occasion. I don't know how to fly a plane though. I don't know how to land a plane. This one made me laugh, and it is that flight attendants don't like flight attendants from other airlines, which is completely untrue. That's not true. I think that there's a certain code amongst flight attendants. We can relate to each other. We know what the job entails. We know what it's like to be a little bit jet lagged, to kind of be away from home for a considerable amount of time. So we had a lot of sympathy towards them. It's more like a bonding thing. And I think that, yeah, it's sort of like a little, like a club, or we just get each other. It's oftentimes that flight attendants that are traveling for leisure, or oftentimes not leisure, they sometimes give us little gifts, a little piece of candy, a little something. And if we fly other airlines, we do the same. It's just a little way of saying thank you. We appreciate what you do. So no, that's not true. We like other flight attendants. It doesn't matter what airline you're from. We admire them. We like to look at their uniforms. We like to look at how impeccable that they look as well. I think we just, we all take pride in our job, and we have an appreciation for each other. That's what I would say about that one. Sorry about the lighting here. I'm trying to get a little bit of the view, but the hotel room is kind of funny with the lighting. It's a little bit dim. But on to the next one. Flight attendants are always happy. You know what? Naturally, I would say that my natural state of being is happy. I'm not going to say don't experience any of the other emotions. I do. But naturally, I'm a happy person. And you know what? This job is fun. I honestly feel like I've been on a super long vacation. Once I'm off of that airplane, I get to go and explore wherever I am. I get to go work out. I get to just, if I want to come to the room and watch a movie and veg out or read a book, that's what I get to do. So I am grateful for my job, and I am, don't take it for granted. And yeah, I smile and I'm happy because it's a genuine feeling, a genuine state of being. And you know what? I like helping people. I enjoy chatting with people. I like to know their stories. I like to make conversation. And yeah, I think that is just a common personality trait of flight attendants. So if you see them happy, it's true. I mean, we are happy. So, the job, that probably has a lot to do with it. It's a fun job. If you're interested in being a flight attendant and you have questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer them. Flight attendants only get paid a little bit more than minimum wage. No, that's not true. We get paid more than minimum wage. I will say though, the longer that you are with the company, and that probably goes with most airlines, the better the pay is. But you also have to remember all the benefits that you get. There are countless benefits, those factored in with what we get paid hourly, and then being away from our base and being on a trip, it all adds up. So there's ways to make money. You can fly different positions. You can fly international or domestic. It also depends on how many hours that you're away from your base. There's lots of things that you can do to increase that. But I would say, the rule of thumb is the longer you are with the company, the better your pay is going to be. And there are some pretty attractive salaries out there. So I will say that. Flight attendants have so much free time on their layovers. I will say this layover, absolutely. I had 24 hours, but it counts as a 2-day trip. So essentially, I should be sleeping here 2 nights, but I arrived at after 11 p.m. last night, and I am leaving at like midnight tonight. So I should have had sleep last night and then caught a lengthy nap before I head out to duty. But because I was jet lagged, because my internal body clock is all over the place, I didn't sleep that well, but I did get a solid nap. I feel rested. I'm going to shower, get ready for my trip. We do have, especially on this trip, I did have a lot of extra time. I did have a chance to go out and explore. Sometimes though, our layovers are a little bit shorter, and there's just enough time really to get a good solid night's sleep and to eat. Sometimes work out. But yeah, it's all, sometimes they're longer, sometimes they're not as long, and it's whatever you do with your time. But yeah, in general, I do have free time. Okay, this one made me laugh. An assumption is that flight attendants talk about passengers. No, We don't talk about passengers like gossip, but flight attendants do communicate with each other. And again, we have eyes on who our passengers on board, who our passengers are on board, and we are taking note. Certain things like, okay, there's a mother with a baby, she may need some help. Sometimes we have wheelchairs or people that have mobility issues. Perhaps they have crutches that they've stored up on top, and we need to just make sure that, if they have to use a restroom or they need to move throughout the cabin, that they are able to do so in a safe way. Or maybe we see a nervous flyer and someone that may need a little bit of extra attention, or for us to just sort of keep an eye on. We communicate with each other to make everyone aware, so you have multiple eyes on you to make sure that you are well taken care of, and that flight goes as smooth as possible and as nice as possible. So no, we don't gossip about passengers, but we do communicate with each other about what certain needs of passengers may be. That way we can all respond in the best way that we can. Flight attendants work the entire flight. That's another assumption. Yes and no. So on shorter flights, like if we are flying domestic, then chances are, yes, we're gonna work the entire flight. But if we're going international on a wide body and we have multiple flight attendants, and that flight is quite lengthy, like over a certain number of hours, then there are scheduled breaks, and we rotate, so there is time for maybe a little power nap. We're able to recharge, get some food, but it's all done in an orderly fashion. But if it's something going from the East Coast to the West Coast, that's totally doable, and there wouldn't be necessarily a break in there, not scheduled for one, but it's something that we can handle. But so depending on the flight, we may or may not work all the time. So it just depends where we're going, how long the flight is. Another misconception is that flight attendants hate when you ask for snacks. No, we don't hate when you ask for snacks. We are there to make the experience as best as possible, and we will happily give you your complimentary snack and beverage, and then if you need another one, just head to the back. Most of the time we're already prepared, we have it set up, we anticipate what passengers are going to ask for, and we'll happily give it to you. So if you want an extra snack, just go to the back. Chances are we have plenty of extra, and we're happy to give it to you. Turbulence never bothers us. I think that maybe it bothers some flight attendants, but for the most part, we know what turbulence is like. We're used to kind of feeling when it's going to come on. At a briefing with the captain, we kind of have an idea whether that flight is going to have turbulence or not, and we know our procedures. Sometimes, it is a little bit scary. Something can catch you off guard. You weren't expecting it, but turbulence is just a part of flying, and we get through it. So I would say it could be scary, I suppose, but it's expected with flying. It's just something that happens sometimes, and personally, I'm not afraid of turbulence. I'm mindful of it. I'm aware that it could happen, and I'm always prepared to act in the event that this is some turbulence, that I need to take a seat and make sure passengers are seated. So it's all of that. It is situational awareness, understanding, being prepared for it, and just pivoting accordingly. Okay, I saw that a common misconception about flight attendants is that there is a height requirement and that you have to be at least 5'7" to be a flight attendant. That's not true. You don't have to be 5'7". I am not 5'7". I am nowhere near 5'7". I am optimistically 5'4". I'm a little bit under 5'4" myself, without heels. With heels, I'm taller. As long as you can fit in the jump seat and you can pass the reach test, you can reach whatever it is that you have to reach, then you are fine. There's no height requirement. As long as you can do those things, then you are good to go. I've seen flight attendants that are not as tall as I am, and I've seen flight attendants that are much taller than I am. So yeah, there's no height requirement. It's just you have to be able to fit in the jump seat. You have to be able to reach the equipment that you that you may have to access. So yeah, as far as height requirements, that's all. But you don't have to be 5'7". Flight attendants don't have a choice on where they get to fly. So I will say yes and no. When you're a new flight attendant, you really don't have any seniority, and that's going to be based on base. Certain bases fly certain places. Some trips are more coveted than others, as a majority. And but I will say that there has been more flexibility than I thought that there would be. I can always try and pick something or somewhere that I want to fly to, and sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. But you know what? The way that I look at it is I'm just happy to go wherever the work takes me, whether I've been there or not. There's always something to discover that I've not yet seen. So if I'm in a mood to explore, I know that there's always something new to find. So yeah. You do have a little bit of say where you go, and but at the end of the day, you're gonna go where they need you. And the last one is flight attendants get paid to have fun. We get paid because this is a job, and I would say, yeah, most of us have fun. I think that naturally that's our personality, but I'm the kind of person that is, if I'm given lemons, I'm going to make lemonade out of it. So it is what you make of it, and you can say that about any profession, not just being a flight attendant. It is what you make of it, and you know what, I have fun. So I guess you could say I get paid to have fun. But that's it. Those are some common misconceptions that I found on the internet about flight attendants, giving you my opinion about them and what my feelings are. Some of them are quite funny. If you have any questions, or if you've heard of a misconception or assumption about a flight attendant that I've not covered, I know there's tons. Let me know what they are. And if you're interested in being a flight attendant, you have questions, then let me know. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. And to see more videos, if you've not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. In the meantime, I am going to hit the shower because I am flying out of here at midnight. I'm going to fly all night, heading back to Miami. So, all right, guys, thank you.